All right, some breaking news to pass along to you. NewsNation has now confirmed there was a new missile strike that targeted a U.S. base in Syria. This in addition to what we saw overnight. A U.S. Central Command spokesperson confirming to us that the rocket attack was at Green Village in Syria. Fortunately, we are not hearing about any casualties at this time. But this does come after the U.S. retaliated following a suspected Iranian drone attack that killed an American contractor overnight, injured another contractor, and also left 5 U.S. service members injured. We do have some video from overnight showing the explosions in the Syrian province that borders Iraq and contains some of the oil fields there. We also know that Iran-backed militia groups and Syrian forces control this particular area. It is not clear if these strikes were the retaliatory attacks by the U.S., as Israel has targeted that area in the past as well. And Iran and Syria have not yet acknowledged retaliatory strike. Joining us to talk more about this developing situation and the potential next steps for the U.S. military, retired Major General Peter Nezamis. Thank you for being with us this morning. I heard John Kirby say just about an hour or so ago, the U.S. does not seek war with Iran. How does Iran see it? Is this considered an act of war now that we have another explosion?
Marty, good morning. It's good to be with you. How Iran feels about this particular attack is it has a lot to do with our continued presence in the region. Of course, Iran strongly disagrees with our continued presence in the region itself. So my guess is the Iranian government sees this not so much as an act of war, but as an ongoing struggle against the U.S. forces in the vast area of the Middle East.
We heard some U.S. military leaders say before Congress that the U.S. is postured for scalable options. Interpret what exactly that means, what the U.S. options are.
Well, we have about slightly less than 1,000, about 900 U.S. service members, mostly in that region against the continued struggles and support of the Syrian opposition government against the Assad government. So mostly those are in support roles and special forces, and along with their contractors that are alongside. So those scalable options would be to protect the U.S. interest, the U.S. service members, and while at the same time providing that level of intelligence support, my guess is to the opposition forces there that are fighting ISIS and their continued ability to strike within European theater and other places from those bases. So that would be mostly what that scalable response would be to protect U.S. service members, while at the same time supporting the ongoing fight against ISIS.
Might there be conversations happening to pull U.S. forces out of Syria?
At this point, I would say no. I think we probably, again, it would be premature to talk about pulling forces out when you're in such a support role. And yesterday's attack that unfortunately killed a U.S. contractor and injured several service members is a direct result of that. There is ongoing conflict in that part of the world, and American troops and supporting countries are in danger. So that's a direct result. You can see that any discussions of pulling out by the U.S., the president or Secretary Austin would be premature at best.
Okay, understood. There was a comment that caught my attention. Michael Kurilla, Commander General, talking to Congress about the situation. He said Iran is exponentially more capable than they were 5 years ago in regards to its military capability and its weapons. How much so?
Well, it's hard to speculate exactly what their capabilities are, but in the world today, with so much access to drones that don't require a lot of training for members that would operate them, and the vast availability of them makes any nation that possesses them a risk, especially and a danger, especially countries that export terror, and Iran would be obviously one of those countries. So that capability with their vast drone fleets, as well as other countries, make them a different threat today than they were in years past.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.